Ave. When working with a famous Titanic dataset, even the beginner data scientists come to the conclusion that the name of the passenger does not really matter for the accuracy of the model's predictions. So if the passenger was not called something like Aquaman or Styrofoam, the name could not be a feature that influences passengers' survival. Therefore, in most cases, the names column is simply discarded from the dataset, thereby making it essentially anonymous.
And all those names and dates and other data, they represent real people, and I'm here today at the Southampton Cemetery where those who sailed on Titanic on that particular last trip were buried, at least those that were found.
Unfortunately, the dead can't talk, but the data itself is a great storyteller.
For example, this is someone called Arthur, whose beloved wife Louise Veil.
And here is the catch. The only passenger with the surname Veil can be found in the test dataset, and his name is James. So either Louise did not want to take her husband's last name, or she forgot what his real name was, or else. And the answer is pretty simple. The Titanic dataset is about passengers. However, there were other people on board that you won't find in this dataset, namely the crew. Let's check the Titanic Encyclopedia website, and oh yes, here we find Arthur Weil, and we learn that he was a member of the Titanic crew, and his profession was a greaser. Arthur sank with the ship, and his body was never found, and even if it was not identified. But his wife remained true to him and never remarried.
And here someone called Charles Henry is buried. So let's try to find him in the dataset.
In the training dataset, we can find two Charles Henrys. Charles Henry Davis, 18 years old, and Charles Henry Chapman, 52 years old. Both boarded the Titanic in Southampton, both had second-class tickets and traveled alone, but the fate of both passengers is tragic. Double-checking with the Titanic Encyclopedia, and indeed they were among the passengers. Their age and their fate is also confirmed.
George Henry Gitty, Mitty, can't really see. George Henry Gitty.
Similarly, we cannot find him in neither of the datasets, but there is a mention of him in the Titanic's encyclopedia. The widower, Mr. Chitty, was a baker's assistant, and in 1912, for his hard work on board of the Titanic, he was paid £4.10 monthly, and he sank with the ship and his son Archibald. Their bodies have never been found.
And here, James Rose and also his son, Arthur John Rose, are buried. And as you can see, Arthur was unfortunately lost at sea. So he was never found, but he was presumed to be dead. Let's see whether this is reflected in the dataset.
We can't find their names in Kaggle dataset. Therefore, let's check the encyclopedia. Arthur, at the time of the tragedy, was 26 years old, and he signed up for the plumber position at the Titanic. He was single and boarded in Belfast, Northern Ireland. His father, James Rose, died back in 1893 at the age of 41, long before the tragedy, but father and son are buried together. I think I will not catch you by surprise if I'll tell you that this famous Kaggle dataset is just a slice of the total number of people that were on board. In particular, it does not include the crew, and the chances of their survival. Although, as you probably realize, since women, the elderly and children, as well as the first-class passengers were rescued in the first place, the team had very little chance for survival. If you want to learn more about data science and in particular about this famous Titanic dataset, check the link in the description to my free introductory course where we work with this dataset and predict passengers' chances to survival. There will also be a link to the first lesson at the very end of the video.
The Titanic is not only a wonderful movie, it also is a tragedy. And at the time when the 20th century just kicked in, before World War I and World War II, that was a significant tragedy where a lot of people, innocent people, have died, and we still don't know 100% why. The official version is that it has collided with the iceberg, and this is an official story of the movie, but who knows. Anyway, this is a representational the visualization of the dataset called Titanic. I think this is as far as it can go, so please give this video Emperor's thumbs up, toll the bell, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. And those who played Blood, the ancient video game, they know what that means.